to do a tag video for you guys today. I guess you could say I technically was tagged by Sam over on Novels and Nonsense because she did this tag and she said anyone that loves coffee she is tagging, and I love coffee. So the tag I'm doing is the coffee book tag, and yes, I love coffee, and there is coffee in here, and this is in one of my favorite mugs. It is a Wicked mug. So with that said, and my coffee going on the ground because I can't read questions and lift up books and hold my coffee all at the same time, so I'm going to put it down. So I'm going to take a drink. Yum! And my kitty is going to want to get in there. No. Okay, you can get up here. Okay, this is Peanut. Isn't she cute? She just had kittens yesterday. She had 2 little kittens. Okay, that has nothing to do with the tag. So let's get started with the coffee book tag, and I will link Sam's video down below as well as the original tag. His video is awesome, so you should go check those out as well. So starting with the first question, and that is black coffee. Name a series that's tough to get into but has hardcore fans. And I had a hard time doing this one because I wanted to do something that was different than what other people had said. And so I chose a series that my husband actually reads. I haven't personally read, but I think if I did read it, it would be really hard for me to get into. And that is the Star Wars books, and their fans are hardcore. I have to say, if you are really a true fan of Star Wars, you've not only watched the movies, you've watched the commentary and all of that stuff, but you've also read the books. So that is my black coffee, the books that are hard to get into but have hardcore fans. Okay, second question is Peppermint Mocha. Name a book that gets more popular during the winter or festive time of the year. This one was also hard for me because I wanted to do something different. So I first chose a book that just made me think of Christmas or gave me that Christmassy feeling, and that is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. And I think because the first part of the book is set at Christmas time, and so it just really makes me think of Christmas and gets me excited for Christmas. So that was my first book because I didn't think I had anything else besides A Christmas Carol, and I wanted to do something different. But then I was looking at my shelves again, and I remembered I had My True Love Gave to Me, the collection of short stories that came out this past Christmas, and definitely is something that you would only really read in December, maybe the beginning of January. And I would recommend it. There's a couple that are not so great, but most of them, for the most part, are awesome. So that is the book that gets more popular during the Christmas time, just like the Peppermint Mocha. And the crazy thing is, you can get a Peppermint Mocha any time of the year, but who wants Peppermint Mocha in June? I don't. Okay, third question is hot chocolate. What is your favorite children's book? And I have a couple. My first favorite children's book, I've talked about this many times on my channel, and that is Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. This is the first book that I ever read by myself, and it's still by far one of my favorite books. It's just amazing. I think Dr. Seuss is an amazing writer. Just, so good. Okay, and then my other favorite children's book, and that is The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. And this is one of my all-time favorite books. It's just a great story, and highly recommend it. So if you haven't read it, you should read The Little Prince. Okay, so that is Hot Chocolate, my favorite children's book. Moving right along to the fourth question, number 4, that's 8, is Double Shot of Espresso. No, I didn't have a double shot of espresso, but the question is, name a book that kept you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. And for me, that was definitely the first time that I read The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I read this book in about a day and a half. I could not put it down. It was fantastic. I just had to keep going. I had to know what was going to happen. And it was really the same for the entire series. I read all 3 books in probably about a week, and they were fantastic. So that was The Hunger Games, the book that kept me on the edge of my seat from start to finish. I need a drink of coffee because, you know, I'm not hyped up enough. So in my coffee, it's French press coffee, and then it has Heathcliff, no, that's a character, Heath Bar creamer, just a little bit at the bottom. It's delicious. Moving along to question 5, and that is Starbucks. Name a book you see everywhere. There's a lot of books that I see everywhere, like on a lot of people's channels, everywhere in bookstores and all of that, and on my shelf. And so I just chose one that I think is pretty popular right now because one of the books just came out, and that is The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. And it's definitely a book that a lot of people are reading. It's definitely popular, and I would say it's not one of the best books I read this year, but it's definitely on the top of the books that I've read this year so far. It's a great story. Highly recommend it. If you haven't read it, then you should check it out. It's fantastic. Okay. That is a book I see everywhere. Everywhere. Even on my shelf. Question 6. Doot, 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 doot. I don't know what I'm doing. And that is The Hipster Coffee Shop. So give a book by an indie author a shout out. And I've talked about this book before on my channel on one of my videos I did a while ago. And this is a book that was written by my college roommate. She's still an awesome friend of mine, and she wrote this book a couple years ago. And that is Sarah's Lemonade Stand by Sarah Musgrove. And it is a fantastic story. It's a collection of stories of getting married and becoming a mom and just dealing with life and laundry. And it's funny, it's witty, and it's heartwarming, and a fantastic story. So that is Sarah's Lemonade Stand by Sarah Musgrove, and my shout out to my indie author. Okay, moving along to question 7. Oh, oops, I accidentally got decaf. The question to go along with that is, name a book you're expecting more from. And I have 2 from this, and the first one is Air Fire by Sarah J. Maas, or Moss, however you want to say it. I mean, the whole series hasn't really wowed me as much as everybody raves about it, and especially Air Fire, it was not ridiculously long, but it was really long, and it just kind of left me like, okay. So that is Air Fire by Sarah J. Maas. And then the second book that I chose, Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. And I still haven't finished this book, and I was expecting it to be amazing because The Final Empire, the first book in the Mistborn series, was fantastic. After you got past the first 100-ish pages of world building and character development and stuff, the story just flew by, and this one, nothing's really happened. It's still good, it's still well written and all of that, but man, I was expecting so much more from this book. Okay, the last question is question 8. And that is the perfect blend of coffee. Name a book or series that was both bitter and sweet, but ultimately satisfying. And I really wanted to choose a book that I hadn't talked about before on my channel, or that other people haven't talked about. And I don't think I've mentioned anything by Francine Rivers before, and so that is The Scarlet Thread by Francine Rivers. This book definitely has some hard issues that you're like, man, I wish they didn't have to go through the things that they're going through, and there are some sad moments. But then it really was just a beautiful love story. I read this book several times, probably 4 or 5 times, and it's just as good as the first time I read it. And so I highly recommend it. If you haven't read anything by Francine Rivers, I think this is a good book to start with. So that is The Scarlet Thread by Francine Rivers, that just had a mixture of bitter and sweet and ultimately satisfied me in every way a book can. That concludes the coffee book tag, and I'm going to end my little tag here video with me drinking some coffee and petting my kitty. Okay guys, I am going to tag some people down below, so go check it out. And if I don't tag you, please, if you want to do this tag, do it. Just give me a link below so I can watch your video, because I definitely will. And I hope you guys are having a great reading month, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye! It's good coffee, Peanut. It's good coffee. How are your kitties doing, huh? Okay, I gotta get up.